Okay, this is Meeting Henry Rollins, and here is a CD I have signed by Henry Rollins. It's a nicer shade of red. It's the, uh, it's like kind of like a fan club thing, I think, or whatever. It was like the part two to Nice. It was like the extra tracks, but there's a lot of cool songs on this one. Um, they play the Dead Boys Ain't It Fun. There's a cool song called Ard. I'm not going to say the full title because it's not allowed on YouTube, but that's a cool song. Anyways, getting on with the meeting. The first time I saw him, looking at the uh, tickets here, I don't know if this is going to be glared up or what, but this is Theater Living Arts, South Street, Philadelphia, October 1998. Very first time I saw him doing spoken word. If you don't know what spoken word is, I'm sure you know if you're watching this video, but seems to be a term that he coined himself. I didn't really hear that. I mean, it's even on the Black Flag Family Man cover, a spoken word, instrumental, whatever. I didn't really hear the term until, he started doing it. And he started doing it back in the Black Flag days. But what he's doing now, and this is like I said, '98. He was still doing this. Is like basically 3 hours of talking, stories, experiences with his twist on it. I know he doesn't. Some of the stuff is funny, but he doesn't consider it comedy. He doesn't consider it poetry. It is what it is. But I mean, if you're a fan of his, you probably have seen him doing what he does. So that was the first I saw him. I remember, I taped it. I have it on tape somewhere. I'm going to try to find it. The whole performance. I'm pretty sure he didn't care about anybody recording him or anything like that. So I know we saw in Philly. We went to my buddy's cousin's house, but we got lost in the hood for like hours trying to find it because it was before GPS. And just remember being very like a lot of barrels burning, like with fires in them, and it just seemed to be not as many people around as I thought it was going to be. But either way, so how I got to meet him was he came to the college I was going to, Shippensburg PA, maybe '99. It wasn't too far after this show. And when I found out he was coming, I couldn't believe it. I mean, this is a small college. I didn't like going there. Very small. Everyone's the same. Boring, stupid frat shit going on. Um, and I only stayed down there 1 month or one semester, and I got the hell out of there. But anyway, and I think this was the semester he came there. But either way, I got on the found out like who's organizing some kind of crew or some kind of student whatever group, and I went in and scammed my way in. It's like, oh yeah, I just want to help and blah blah. I'm a big fan, and I'll set up seats, do whatever. So the day of the show, I walk in, and it's before, maybe an hour or two before he's going on, and I walk in, and he's right there, and he's talking to the sound guy, and he's like, make sure this and this and this, and if not, I'm going to be on you. And I was like, wow, and he just was very high energy walking around, and I mean, I'd say ADD energy. So then he goes backstage or to this back room. And of course, I see him there going in there. So I go in like a dick. I'm kind of the dick in this story. A lot of times you see him in old interviews. He seems like the dick. I'm the dick in this story. But either way, I go in there and he's back there and he's got a spread of food. He's got a CD booklet and he's jamming out on some jam box. And he was kind of like, "What the fuck you doing here?" He didn't say it. He's just like kind of a look on his face, like, "Why are you here?" And I was just doing. I'm a huge fan. I had to meet you. I don't mean to bug you, man. I've been in you. You're an idol of mine, and whatever. And he was kind of cool. It was just a weird in our conversation. If I'd ask him a question, sometimes I felt like he could punch me in the face at any moment. Like he was just like, but um, so what I did remember is like I said, he had CDs and he was playing. He couldn't, like, if he had a CD and he put it in, he maybe would listen to one song before he changed it to another, then he'd change it to another, then he'd change it to another. And the one group I remember him playing, I was kind of surprised, was Alice in Chains. I don't know why I was surprised by that, but I don't know. That's the one band I remember. So anyway, I'm talking to him and I'm asking him questions. And at the time, this is when he broke up with the Rollins band. There was no Rollins band. He didn't have a band at this time. And I was, I just was kind of talking about, I don't know how I said it, but I wasn't that into the last album they did, Come In and Burn. Just felt it didn't have a lot of energy, a lot of slowness, a lot of talking. And he was like, "Yeah, I know." And he's like, the guys in the band would write songs, and I'd be like, "What do you want me to do with this?" That type of thing. And the one song, "Starve," the one real fast, heavy song on there, they were doing that, and he's like, the guys were like, "That's so rock and roll," and he was like, "How did we get here?" So I don't know. But either way, that was, I probably stayed in there too long. I'm trying to think of what else I asked him about. Oh, like, what are you going to do now musically? Is it going to be different? Is it not going to be rock and roll? Are you going to do jazz? And I remember he just looked at me like, "You're a fucking idiot. Like, why would I do jazz?" I don't know. I just know he listens to a lot of different types of music, and maybe he was going to delve into something different. But he eventually did reform the Rollins band, and I'll get into that in a minute because I did see them live twice. So, I talked to, and I remember the girl coming in going, "I'm sorry, we didn't find the power bars you were looking for." And he was like, "Oh, it's cool. I can tell you guys tried, and it was good." And then she kind of gave me the look like, "Get the fuck out of here." So I did. And, she was like, "You were in there a little long." And I was like, "I know, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself." And whatever, I was setting up chairs and shit. He came out and he did a show, and it was full. And I know some people said they had to be there. And this is going to sound corny, but I remember it was a college free show at the time. I think it was free. But some people said that they were there for like on assignment, and some girls like, he is getting off on a lot of tangents and this and that because he go one thing to other. That's kind of what he does, and then he goes back into the original and ties it all together with the Rollins point of view. And so yeah, and I have that show on tape as well, and I hope to find that too. The whole show, like you could sit there with the tape recorder. He didn't care. And then after the show, of course, I was greedy, being the greedy bastard I am. I wanted to meet him again, but for whatever reason, I didn't have a camera. Then my buddy came, and he did have one. It was one of those, once again, the Kodak throwaways, and so there's a couple people getting pictures, whatever, with him after. And he saw me, and he's like, "This fucking guy again." And he's like, "With your 35-cent camera." But I did get a picture. I will post it below, and you can see the difference in looks. Like, I'm like, "Yeah, this is great." And he's like, "Cool." And I know from the girls that took him to the bus station or airport or wherever the hell they dropped him off at, said like after the show he was like kind of tired, and he'd be like, and they'd be like, "Whoa!" And then jump up again and start talking about something, then kind of be like mellow, almost like he's gonna say, then he'd jump up and talk something again. And I remember the next day in the bookstore, they had all his books and they're playing a song, and I'm like, "Damn, it's like Henry Rollins is taking over the school." So next, what was I saying? Rollins band. And I saw Rollins a lot. Like, and he comes to Harrisburg now once a year, so I've seen him come. Did meet him another time after the show, back of the bus, or not in the back of the, I mean, by his bus or whatever. He was talking to people, and I got a picture of him with him. It was me, him, and my ex-wife. We went to see him, and he was a little bit older at this time. What the hell year was it? Let me find it. I think it was on the 50 tour. I think maybe, yeah. So it was the 50 tour. I can barely read 2011. Okay, so now let's back up. I saw the Rollins band at the Trocadero. A lot of these stories are going to be from the Trocadero. Awesome place to see a band. And this was on April 7th, 2000. So this was the Rollins band Mach 2 or version 2 with Mother Superior. I think Mother Superior opened, and then Rollins band came out, and they were good, and this was kind of like a new energy for the band. A lot the band, his backing band, they were a lot younger than him, and so Rollins band had a new kind of energy. And if you listen to those records, those two last records with that band, it is different than the classic Rollins band. And then I saw Rollins band again on the Warped Tour in 2001, I think. And there were a lot of other bands on there, and I remember most of them would come out. And this was at it was called the Tweeter Center then, and it was in Jersey, but it was right on the border. I think it was in Trenton or something like that. So half the bands came out and said, "Oh, Philly, it's great to be in Philly," and then the other half would come out and be like, "It's great to be in Jersey." Most of them didn't know where the fuck they were. But I remember when Rollins band came out, Henry was like, "There's one thing we don't do, and that's play a bad show in New Jersey." And they went into their shit. And I remember they had the American flag behind them as a backdrop, and that was right after 9/11. So, a lot of people were super patriotic, which that's cool, So I remembered that. And then the show, like I said, the one thing I do remember saying to him at the show in 2011 after meeting him again, it was like, "Man, it'd be cool if you do some music again." And he was like, "Oh, okay. Like, thanks for your opinion, but probably not." It's like, come on, all his contemporaries, all the guys he, came up with in the scene, most of those guys are still playing and I think doing pretty well, but hey, it's up to him. Um, so that's my meeting Henry Rollins story. And, I'm sure plenty of you have met him as well. If anyone has any cool stories, post them below. I know now he does a VIP thing, so that's kind of how you meet him now. If you want to meet him, he does a very small, intimate spoken word performance for the people, and I guess meets them. Um, but yeah, these times I met him, obviously it wasn't VIP. It was me, one stalking him down, and then luckily running into him after the other show. Um, Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and I will be doing other videos of meeting people in the future. So keep your eyes out and check out my other ones. And also, I do have a YouTube video of one of his performances. It might have been the 51. It's about going to Costco or something like that. Don't know why I picked that one to record, but I just like to get a little piece of every show I go to. All right. Have a nice day.